no place to go. It's just me, myself, and the open road. And when I hit the I-24, you're damn right, gonna put the pedal to the floor.
What's up, y'all? It's Trucker IceBox. Thanks for visiting the channel and the Facebook page. This is actually going to be my very first radio show type thing I'm doing on YouTube, but I'm also doing the video, face to face right now. If you wanted to actually watch the video, the YouTube music thing that I'm doing, the radio show, is just something if you wanted to listen to the videos going down the road. It's just the audio stuff, just me talking about different things. I have some stuff planned for it, so if you're interested in it, make sure you subscribe to the channel and like the page, and I'll keep throwing stuff out there. But today I'm talking about why I choose to drive for Swift, and it's something I get asked quite a bit from people on the page or out in public, and by my own family, and stuff. So it's almost an everyday thing, because I've been driving in trucking for 10 years, and Swift is kind of looked at as a starter company. It's not something that's viewed as a company that people would retire or spend a long time with. Usually, the way people look at it is they come in, they work for Swift, get enough experience to go somewhere else, and it doesn't have to be the case. I mean, thankfully Swift does have a great training program. I've seen other training programs, and compared to what Swift has, I think Swift has a pretty decent training program. Personally, I think it probably needs a little bit more than the 200 hours behind the wheel, but I don't get to make those decisions, but it's definitely a lot better than what the government's mandated. So but they still try to get the drivers out there knowledgeable and stuff, with other than what the hype in the industry is about, the views on Swift. But this is not like this is not a recruiting video. I really don't care if you want to drive for Swift, or if it has nothing to do with that. This is just pretty much just why I made the decision to come here. I think that if you have an open mind and you don't believe all the hype that there is around Swift, and you come here with a positive attitude, you can be very successful. There's a lot of successful drivers that drive for Swift. There's a lot of people that have been working here a hell of a lot longer than I have. You got guys that have been here 20, 30, whatever years, that are doing great and will probably retire with Swift. It's not the whole training company view or whatever that a lot of people have about it. But I think that's one hard thing that I have to deal with. But I honestly don't care what people think about that. I want to be successful. I want to go out there and maximize the money that I can make, and be happy with what I'm doing. So that's pretty much what I'm doing now, and it hasn't always been that way. I've been with smaller companies, a couple of them, and I wasn't as happy there as I am here, because it's usually you get one thing or another. It's either you get really good pay, but you usually have to work a hell of a lot harder for it, or you may get treated really good and have a nice truck. There's a lot of companies out there right now that offer satellite TV and a jacuzzi hot tub. There's some crazy stuff out there right now that companies are offering just to get drivers to go work for them, and which is great. God, we live in great times right now in trucking. Some of the stuff that we got that could only dream of a couple years ago. I mean, like I got Wi-Fi in my truck, you know, so I got to play my Xbox and stuff. It's crazy, you know. I never thought I'd be able to do that, but yeah, it's pretty accessible now. But I if you didn't know, I train at Swift. I kind of had an urge to get back into do it. I used to do it when I was with Swift before, and I wanted to get back into doing that. And I'd looked at other companies and their training programs, and I really didn't like what they had to offer. A couple of them, you know, was like Prime, CRST and stuff. You know, the big companies that you know that train, and I just didn't like their programs. And so, you know, at least for my end, I mean, I don't know what it is as far as students. I'm not saying anything bad about that. It's just as far as being able to train the way I wanted to train and make the money that I wanted to make. Nobody else had anything better to offer. I actually didn't apply for Swift at first because I didn't know if I was going to be able to get back on with the company. Central has always been a kind of like a sub company, if that's the right way to put it, but it was pretty much owned in the Swift companies. You know, kind of like how Knight is. Knight's supposed to be, you know, like owned by Swift, but it's a separate company or whatever. As far as I know, you know, don't quote me on that. You know, that's just as far as I know. But Central got bought out. Right, I was right in the middle of that, but I applied with Central, and then while I was going through the hiring process, they were actually going in and buying out Central Refrigerated. Swift was, and I know a lot of the Central drivers were upset about it, but I was actually kind of happy about it. But Central had a similar training program to Swift, and that's just how it worked out. But it ended up good because I ended up where I wanted to be anyway, so it all worked out. But I just had an urge to get back into doing that. I wanted to go and start doing it again. It's kind of it's fun. I mean, you get to take a brand new person and teach them what you know, and you know, it makes a big difference in people's lives. God, I mean, it made a big difference in my life. I mean, you know, if I wouldn't have had a good trainer and got going the way I did in trucking, you know, I might be back working a dead-end job. And I mean, who wants to do that? You know, I mean, at least this is a career and something you can be proud of. You know, driving a truck. So I came back that was one reason for training. I wanted to be a trainer. My first 30 days back, I ran by myself. The company I was at before, I did everything I could. I tried to do everything I could to get miles, and it seemed like the most miles I could get was about 8,000 miles. And I was probably averaging about 7. And my first month back by myself, it was exactly 30 days. I went home twice, and for about 4 days during the month, and I still did a little over 13,000 miles my first month. It's not record setting, but when you run legally, you know, that's pretty good miles, and I was definitely happy with it. And it was about a $2,500 increase in my pay just by doing those extra miles. So it started right off the bat. And then after a month, I applied to be a trainer and got into the training program. And pretty much the way that works is for all the miles that the truck does, I get paid for. And then there's a couple bonuses and stuff that go on top of that with the students. Nothing major, but it's just a little extra money. But so if the truck does, say 4,000 miles, I get paid 4,000 miles, and the students get paid by the hour while they're in training. So when I came back, I started off, I was making about this, I think it was a penny more per mile when I came over here compared to the company I was with. I believe that's what it was. And right now, if I run over the road, I get 43.5 cents a mile. But since I came in and I kind of proved myself, and I was on time, and I wasn't I wasn't late on loads. I didn't have any accidents, stuff like that, and I was doing a good job. There was a position that opened up on a dedicated account. I've never really been a person that wanted to do dedicated. Usually, not all the time, but sometimes it pays more, sometimes it pays less. But usually it's just to get you home more, and around where you live, just to be able to be home, throughout the week or on the weekends or whatever. And but I've always liked being over the road. I've always liked going all over the country and enjoying what our country has to offer. But I got on this dedicated account because of the money they were offering. I was going to be going from making 43.5 cents a mile to what I make now is 57 cents a mile. I get 57 cents a mile. So if I do 4,000 miles, you take 57 cents a mile. It's a pretty good paycheck. But that's my base pay. Because I don't get in accidents and I'm on time all the time. There's quarterly bonuses that are handed out, and the quarterly bonuses kind of depend. It's like a sliding scale, but with my bonus, it's anywhere between I think I forget how much it is, but it's like 61 cents to 65, or I don't know. It's something like that. It's a little bit more cents per mile every quarter, and they pay it out every quarter. So like every quarter I normally get if I'm running really hard, I'll normally get about $2,500 or so for a bonus. So that's an extra $10,000 a year right there, and it can make a big difference. I mean, if you're like for a new student coming out, if they make $55,000 and they get that bonus if they don't get in an accident and all that, and say they got like a $7,500 bonus or whatever if they're running less miles throughout the year, for the whole year, that puts them up above $60,000, which ain't bad considering the average pay for an owner operator in the country right now. I'm sure there's guys that make more, which is great, but the national average is about $60,000. So being that you can make that as a company driver, it's not too bad. So the money's been great. I mean, it's there if you go out there and work. That's been trucking from the beginning for everybody. Is the harder the more work you put in, the more you get paid. That was one reason why I got into trucking, period, was I have never had a problem with working hard. I just want to get paid for it, and that's one thing that's trucking itself has provided. But along with that, the benefits here are awesome. You get a lot of choices. I mean, so many different options for benefits that I can choose, and with what I got for family plan, it's $80 a week, which is nice. It's affordable. The company I was with before was charging $1,500 a month. And it was crazy because I wasn't even making that much money, so it was going to take a lot of what I was making. So going from $1,500 a month, and that didn't include anything great. I had a high deductible and all that, and to where I'm paying $80 now, it's been awesome. And you got 401k and just all kinds of different things, different benefits that they offer. And there's so many options, man. I've gotten, if you've seen some of my videos, I've gotten to do some cool stuff here. I mean, like, Swift has a lot of different freight. I mean, it's something new. I mean, not that it's exciting every day. Some days you're just hauling toilet paper or whatever. But you know, like one of my most manly experiences that I've ever gone through was driving for Swift. I was a couple in Super Bowl coming up. This is why I thought about this. A couple of Super Bowls back, I was down at the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, and I was picking up motocross motorcycles to take them up to Pennsylvania for their next show, and I got so lucky. They didn't have my trailer ready, and I'm inside the arena, so you like go underground, and so I'm actually in the arena, you know, right there where the players pretty much hang out, and the tour buses and stuff go in normally when they have concerts, and they're like, oh yeah, our bad, load's not ready, we're still loading, it's gonna be a little while. I was like, that's cool, man. You know, you care if I just like walk around or whatever? And when started just looking around, got to check out like where the locker rooms were. I went because I mean, like I had to go to the bathroom, so like the bathrooms that they were using were down where the not in the locker rooms, but down where the locker rooms are. So I got to go down all through there. So it's kind of cool. And on the way back, you know, there was this opening where they were loading up dirt, hauling the dirt out after the show. And I kind of walked in there just kind of see what they were doing, and they had the Super Bowl up on the jumbotron. It was going. I thought I was gonna miss it, you know, because it was going on when I was picking up the load, and I ended up getting to go into the arena, got to sit down and watch the Super Bowl on the jumbotron while my 80,000 pound death machine's getting loaded up with motocross motorcycles while heavy machinery's going loading dump trucks. So I was like, oh man, that's, you know, like, how can you beat that? I mean, getting to watch the Super Bowl on the jumbotron of the Bridgestone Arena, I mean, God, it was awesome. But a little bit after that, a little bit before that, I don't know if it was the year before or something, I don't know, it kind of, you know, so much stuff goes on, but sometime before that, I think it was a couple months before that or something like that, I ended up picking up monster trucks out in Omaha, and I actually did a couple loads with the monster trucks. It wasn't the only one I did. I did some other ones and whatnot, and got to actually go out there, meet the drivers, got to stand around, you know, by the equipment and hang out, and you know, they started them up, loaded. That was one time I wish I could load my own trailer. Oh my God, I would have offered for sure. I'd get to drive one of those bad boys up in the truck, but yeah, I got to haul those down to Louisville, so that was pretty nice. And then there's another load. I went to, it was for the Avengers live show, and it was really neat, you know, getting to do that. It wasn't as cool as the other stuff, but on the paperwork it said, oh shit, what was that? It was like the Avengers thing. I'm drawing a blank right now, but they made the paperwork out to look like it was the Avengers, you know, little group or whatever, and so that was kind of neat. So I got to show my oldest son and everything. It was pretty neat. So I mean, there's been a lot of stuff like that I've gotten to do that I wouldn't have got to do if I wasn't here, and I'm sure it won't be the last or anything. I still get to do neat things here and there. It's fun though. I mean, it's very laid back. You know, as long as you do your job, everything's pretty easy and make good money. So that's why I work here. You know, I've had fun. I mean, like, it's been a good go since on the second go around. I've got a great dispatch team. I mean, I most of the time, a lot of people in the office know who I am, so a lot of times I don't even have to tell them who I am. I mean, when I call, I normally do give them I mean, we do have driver numbers and stuff, and I'll normally give it to them, but a lot of times they already know who I am. So You know, it's still on a personal level, unlike what a lot of people think. And I mean, you know, I don't get treated like a number. I mean, everybody's respectful, and you know, I think a lot of the complaints that people have had and talked about with Swift over the years, you know, I'm sure there's more to it and everything. And I'm not sitting here saying I'm gonna drive for Swift forever. I mean, you know, who knows what's gonna happen with the company, but I hope things keep going good. I've really enjoyed the last couple years, and if it stays like this, I'm gonna stay here. I mean, but you know, we'll see how it goes. But so that's what it is. That's why I drive for Swift. I mean, so hopefully you enjoyed the video and hearing me talk about it. You know, but or watching, if you're watching the you know, this video here instead of the audio version. But you know, that's pretty much what it is. And so everybody drive safe, and if you see me out there on the road, say hi. I got on the side of my door here, I got my CB handle. It says IceBox on it. So if you ever, I know all the Swift trucks look the same, and mine looks like a everyday Swift truck, but it does have my CB handle on there. So if you see IceBox on the side when you're driving by, toot your horn or something, or wave or whatever, you know, and everything, say hi. Anyways, have a good one. Stay safe. God bless. And everybody subscribe and like the channel, and I'll get some more videos out there. See y'all later.